is the altcoin season starting. Everyone was talking about a summer rally. I think what we were hoping for is about to happen, and that's a great development. Bitcoin only experienced an 8% increase. This is a small rise for Bitcoin, but it's a significant increase for the crypto market, for altcoins, and for us. Because especially while it was moving right above the 50-day moving average, it bounced off there and rose rapidly, breaking its all-time high. We call this an H. Why did the market go up? Why did Bitcoin rise? I really enjoy digging into this, guys. Are we going to experience an altcoin season or not? It becomes easier to understand and interpret, and in my opinion, it looks like we're about to experience an altcoin season. Let's get into our video. Guys, I think the most important things in the crypto market are macro data and fundamental news analysis. These are very important because I'm not saying this for Bitcoin, but for altcoins, the market is still very shallow. So technical analysis is a secondary plan for us. The first step is to look at what macro data is saying, what fundamental analysis is saying. And right now, one of the most important players in this is the US economy. Trump has been criticizing Powell for a long time, saying he shouldn't lower interest rates. You might remember, we also made a video about this, guys. We said that Powell made this announcement. I shared Powell's live broadcast and we translated it live. Did Powell say this? Yes, the current economic conditions are very good and we have inflation under control. But when we decide to cut interest rates, how will it react in the future? This is very important for us. And Trump called it uncertain. That's why he said we will continue to monitor. But now we are moving towards a change. Some FED members believe that there should be an interest rate cut in July, that is this month. The market may have already priced this in. Look, right now, when we look at the probability of a rate cut in July, the market shows it as 6.7%. It's very low, but still we actually see that it has risen a bit. In September, however, we definitely see that there will be a rate cut. Then friends, look, there are cuts in October and December, and we see this. By December, there will definitely be 2 rate cuts. Maybe there will be 3 rate cuts, and ahead of us, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 meetings. There will definitely be rate cuts in at least 2, probably 3 of these meetings, and I think the market's pricing this in. A rate cut means liquidity flowing into the market. Liquidity is especially important for risk assets and crypto. It's a good development. So in summary, why are we rising? The market believes that money will enter the system. That's why the market is going up. We can see this rise both in the crypto space and in technology indexes and stock markets. We've experienced an uptrend, but is it over or are we just at the beginning? Look, this part is really important, friends. We need to take a look at this. We can see that trading volume on the Bitcoin side has increased significantly. But here's the important part. This volume isn't coming from individual users watching this video. It's coming from institutions, governments, and corporations. The general public is only now, after today's ATH, starting to look at it with the perspective of, oh right, there was something called Bitcoin, and there were people making money with these altcoins. Could it really be true? Honestly, I constantly find myself in social gatherings and people know that I'm interested in crypto. For a long time, no one was asking me about it. But now, just because of those slight increases yesterday and the day before, people have immediately started talking about crypto again. They're saying things like, so I hit an ATH, huh? I didn't think Bitcoin would go up, but it surprised me. The conversation is starting up again. What I'm trying to say is right now, this price increase isn't because of the general public. And the real rally happens when the public gets into crypto. That's my personal opinion. So in my view, especially for Bitcoin, that show season hasn't happened yet. Because when we look at the Coinbase and Binance Exchange apps on the App Store, they're still ranked pretty far down. So in fact, end users still aren't really involved yet. This actually indicates that the upcoming period will be even better. But of course, this is not investment advice. Another reason for Bitcoin's price increase is that the supply-demand balance has been disrupted, friends. In the second quarter of 2025, 160,000 Bitcoins were purchased. That's about $17 billion worth of Bitcoin bought. In this case, 66% more Bitcoin was purchased compared to the first quarter. There was a constant purchase of Bitcoin from many ETFs like BlackRock and Fidelity, friends. But during the same period, only 40,000 Bitcoins could be produced. This actually means that the price will increase. And as I said, individual users like you watching this video, or those who haven't watched it yet, haven't even gotten involved. If demand surpasses supply, a price increase becomes inevitable. Has the altcoin season started? Now we're going to talk about that. However, in a possible altcoin season, your exchange account needs to be ready. We need to act quickly. If you're not a Binance member, you can sign up for Binance with a 20% discount, either by using the QR code you see on the screen right now or through the link in the video description. You also have a chance to earn a withdrawable $20. Details are in the video description. Don't forget to create your account and complete identity verification. Has the altcoin season started? I think this is a very, very important topic. Look, I had prepared a chart for you about this. The green areas represent altcoin seasons, and the red ones represent Bitcoin seasons. The green areas are altcoin seasons, the red ones are Bitcoin seasons. Altcoin season, Bitcoin season, and the cycle change are expected in September. There's exactly 1.5 months left until September. Moreover, there will be an interest rate cut in September as well. This Bitcoin season, we're experiencing the massive 4-year Bitcoin season. We've lived through it, and we're still living it. Is an altcoin season happening? Well, I mean, we need a bit more time to understand that. But here's what we see, friends. Look, after 65.97 and after 60%, we see that Bitcoin dominance drops significantly. This show happened even though it only dropped to 64.5 so far. Now, just imagine what could happen if it drops to 30 or 40%. Let me put it that way, friends. And don't forget this. Altcoin seasons happen quickly. Sometimes in just 1 or 2 months. Sometimes it lasts a bit longer, but I think from now on it will be short and aggressive. So by the time people are asking, is this an altcoin season? Have we entered the season? We might already see 2, 3, even 5 times gains. With some coins, we'll see 10 times gains. And then the season will be over. That's why during this period, I posted a tweet today. I said that I'm going to cut back on spending for food and entertainment and focus more on crypto, dedicating my time to it. We're going to work hard during these times, friends. I'll be tweeting a lot. You can mute notifications and go silent if you want, or you can turn on notifications and follow along. I don't like posting meaningless tweets. We'll try to catch good opportunities. Friends, Ethereum broke through $3,000. The first target is $4,000. Ripple has broken through $2.4. Solana is above its 200-day EMA average, and a potential ETF is expected for Solana. Let's take a look at PumpFun. As you know, PumpFun is a platform that has been heavily criticized. Let's call it rapid coin creation or shitcoin creation. And they decided to launch a coin. Between the 12th of July and 15th, people can participate in the PumpFun presale, friends. I'm not going to participate because it looks cheap, but I don't think it actually is. It shows a $4 billion FDV. Friends, when we look at CoinMarketCap, a $4 billion FDV is a bit strong for this market. It seems a bit high to me, but when there's FOMO in the market, anything can happen. That's why I won't be participating. I don't like taking risks. We've been burned too many times. I just want to stay calm for a while now. That's why I won't be joining. Let's take a look at Dogecoin. A new meme coin craze might be starting. If a new meme coin craze does start, should I call it the king of memes, or what else can I say? Of course, it's Dogecoin. And Elon Musk says, in his opinion, it's Dogecoin. He says it's better than Bitcoin. Who is Elon? The most powerful and richest man in the world. That's why Doge is important to me. And the Doge ETF is expected from the US. Institutional investors will also be buying Doge. So there are positive developments ahead for Doge. If you pay attention, you'll notice that it actually reacts a bit more strongly than Ethereum. Doge is trying to act as a kind of bull lever. Another coin we'll be following is the one I just mentioned. Now, we've talked about the coins. The first was Doge. These are the coins we need to pay attention to in July. The second is Pengu. There's a serious hype around it. Again, there are institutional investors from the US involved. It's genuinely well liked. Is it useful as both a meme coin and an NFT? That's debatable. But as you know, once a coin gets the hype behind it, it makes money. Pengu is one of these as well, friends. Another coin we need to look at is Sui. Sui is our favorite. What did we used to say? It's our raisin cake. It's a great project that we bought at just $0.1 during the presale. When we look at it, there are a lot of transactions and transfers. The lockup levels are very high. The community really loves Sui, friends. This is also a positive development for Sui. As I mentioned earlier, another one of our coins is Solana. The news came in, friends, that the ETFs have been approved. Soon ETFs will start being bought and sold. This will bring institutional investors to Solana. It's always said like this. Is Solana the new Ethereum? So is Sui the new Solana or Ethereum? In other words, that category has its own league. Solana is very valuable to me in that regard. I like Solana, friends. I also really like Solana's developer community. What can I say? These are very different people, colorful personalities. That's why I like it. And Solana is like that too anyway. It has nice blue and purple colors. This is another coin we need to keep an eye on this July, friends. Vana. Vana is a coin that sits at the intersection of both data processing, data trading, and artificial intelligence. Especially in a place where the internet is used so much, processing data correctly and utilizing artificial intelligence is crucial. I think the combination of these two is a great development for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin can really touch something in real life and provide a solution, I think it can survive. That's why Vana is one of the projects I follow. I hope the video was clear and easy to understand. Once the season starts, it's been a bull season for Bitcoin for quite a while. We might also be entering a bull cycle for altcoins. It's still too early to confirm this right now, but we'll keep following it, friends. We will continue to invest carefully, without being late, without worrying, and without falling into FOMO. I hope my video was clear and understandable. Hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.